The Fog is a 1980 horror film written and directed by John Carpenter, starring Adrienne Barbeau and Jamie Lee Curtis, as an unearthly fog rolls into a small coastal town exactly 100 years after a ship mysteriously sank in its waters. Scream Factory presents this film with a native 4K transfer with Dolby Vision and HDR10. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken, and today, guys, I am going to be diving into and reviewing The Fog on 4K, the latest Scream Factory Shout Factor release that is coming out this week. I got it in early from Scream Factory because I pre-ordered for them. Now, this does have a previous Studio Canal 4K release. I do realize that, and a lot of people have already imported this. But I will be talking about the Scream Factory release, which also utilizes the exact same transfer as the Studio Canal version. So this is just the first time they're releasing this on 4K domestically. But before I get into talk about it, I'm excited to talk about this one. It's been a number of years since I've seen it, but before I do that, I need to ask that if you are not yet a subscriber to the Mid-Level Media channel, what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button. We talk about 4Ks and Blu-rays every single day on this channel. If you like that kind of stuff, you like owning the movies that you love, all this stuff here behind me, then definitely consider hitting that subscribe button. Also, let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts on The Fog. Do you plan on purchasing this 4K based on my recommendation? Then hit the like button, turn on the bell notifications, and all that good stuff. So let's get into talking about The Fog on 4K. And again, we're going to talk about the movie. We're going to talk about special features. We're going to talk about the specs, how it looked, audio, all that stuff. We're going to get into everything. I'm going to do a little unboxing of this as well. But let me just briefly talk about the movie itself, because this is a movie that I grew up with. Like, I remember watching this when I was a kid. It frightened the hell out of me when I was younger. Like, this is one of those movies that I remember watching as a kid, and I was just completely mortified, scared, creeped out, everything. It's just one of those movies that I've taken with me into adulthood. I was like, oh, The Fog is super scary. What I will say, though, is I watched it into adulthood. I still thought it was scary, probably my late teens. That's when I purchased this Fog DVD set, I think was in 2005. So in my 20s, I still thought this was pretty creepy, pretty atmospheric. I did watch it again. I rewatched it a few years ago. I think about 5 or 6 years ago. I wasn't as impressed with it. I didn't think it was as scary. So I was interested to see what my thoughts would be now, 6 years later. Maybe I like it more. Maybe I would like it less. I think I liked it slightly more. I liked it slightly more, and that's because I appreciate this movie. I enjoy it overall. I do enjoy this movie, but I appreciate it a little bit more now, I think, just for its creepy campfire ghost tale nature. Like, that's really what it is. It's a creepy campfire. You're around the campfire. You're telling a ghost story. That's what this movie is. There's nothing, there's not too much substance to the actual story of this film. Not like some of John Carpenter's other films, like They Live or Halloween even. There's just not a ton of substance. Or The Thing, which has like, it's just dripping with substance. So much going on in that movie. The Fog is really surface level. It's a campfire ghost story. I appreciate it for that. It has incredible atmosphere. The movie itself is just such a mood and a vibe. Like, it just has such incredible atmosphere and just feel to it. Like, you pop this sucker in when it's getting a little colder outside. You're starting to get into that fall, October season, and you can just feel it. You can just feel this movie. You can feel that creepy, eerie aesthetic, and I think it does work in that respect. But honestly, it probably is bottom tier Carpenter for me, at least of the ones I've seen. There's still a few John Carpenter films I have not seen. I've seen most of his big stuff, but I would probably put this, like, if I was doing a top 10 Carpenter, this would probably be like number 9 or 10. So it's probably on the bottom tier side of Carpenter's filmography for me. I do respect the fact that it takes its time. Like, it really takes its time. Like, I like the way that I kind of like, even though it's a little slow, I do like the way this opens. And it opens the night before, like, the initial Fog takeover. And it kind of just takes you around the town and introduces you to all the characters. The Fog is trying to roll in, then it goes back, and it's setting everything up. It's setting the table. It's placing all the pieces in place. And I like what it does there. I like how it builds that, how it sets everything up that night one, and then you go into the next day, and then the shit hits the fan the next night. And I do respect it. I respect the fact that it does take the time to build that tension and suspense. We don't get that in a lot of films today, so I do respect that. but I'm mostly bored by a good portion of this movie. Like I said, until you get to the last 20 minutes, and that's when the shit really hits the fan and stuff starts to happen, which you could say the same thing for Halloween. You could say the same thing for Halloween. It takes like an hour to build everything up. Michael Myers is basically stalking these girls in the daylight in town and stuff, and then the shit hits the fan at night when everybody's babysitting. But I would argue that a little bit more stuff happens throughout that movie, which there's stuff that happens in The Fog as well. But I'm bored by this movie, and the thing that I identified as to why I'm bored by this movie this time around is I'm just not interested in any of the characters. Like, it takes you around and introduces you to all these characters. I'm just not too interested. I don't find any of them that interesting. I feel like they're mostly just boring, bland characters that are just set in this really cool, really creepy aesthetic. There's just not too much to them as actual characters for me to latch onto. So if you're expecting me to follow them on their journey throughout the movie and care about what happens to them, I don't. I just don't care about anybody in this movie. I mean, you have Jamie Lee Curtis in this film. You have Tom Atkins, who's a badass in almost everything else I've seen him in. He's great in this movie too. But his character, I just don't care about. Him and Jamie Lee Curtis meet. She's a drifter. He gives her a ride. They end up sleeping together in the next 5 minutes. I don't care. I just don't care about anybody. The only character in this movie that I find mildly interesting is Adrienne Barbeau's Stevie Wayne, because she's, you know, the radio host in the tower. I think that's a cool little dynamic, that she's kind of warning everybody from this radio, host position, and she's on the radio and everybody can hear her. She's like, the fog's coming, the fog. I think that's kind of cool. I think that's kind of cool and interesting angle for that character. So I do kind of latch on to her character, I would say, the most in the movie, but everybody else I just don't care about. Janet Leigh's in this movie. Jamie Lee Curtis's mom, from Psycho, is in the film. I don't care about her at all. And her assistant, I forget the actress' name, but she was also in the original Halloween. She played Annie in Halloween. I remember that name. But anyway, she's in the movie, and there's a priest character who his story comes into play in the ends. And again, I'm not going to spoil everything that happens in the movie, but I'm just not interested in anybody. So you expect me to have the whole movie and to be attached to all these characters, and I just don't care. And I just find it incredibly boring for like the first hour of this movie. Like, the first part is interesting. I like how they build everything up, but then I have to be in this world for an hour with nothing going on with these characters I don't care about. And that's why I just can't latch on to this movie like I want to. Like, I really want to love this movie because I really do think it has something there as far as like a creepy atmosphere and aesthetic that a lot of other horror movies at this time just weren't able to nail. So, or horror movies today, like a lot of movies can't nail the atmosphere and the creepy aesthetic that The Fog can. Like, they've literally not made another movie like The Fog in terms of the atmosphere and aesthetic. So I respect it for that. I just don't care about anybody in the movie. The direction's great. I mean, John Carpenter does an excellent job. There's a lot of like really awesome faraway shots. You can see the fog rolling in, just how he directs the fog coming in, just making the fog almost a character in the movie is really great. And I think he does a phenomenal job building the tension, building everything up, and just building the suspense. I think he does a great job with all that. The score in this movie, I love it. Honestly, I think that the score might be my favorite part about this entire movie because I think it's wonderful. I listen to it all the time. It's probably in my top 5 John Carpenter scores. It's up there with Halloween 3, the original Halloween. I love this score so much. It is definitely one of his best. Very creepy, very Halloween-y, very fall feeling. I love it so much. Very creepy. I love the design of the actual, and this may be a spoiler alert if you don't know anything about this movie. So go ahead and click off or fast forward like 30 seconds or something. But I love the design of the ghost pirates in this film because the ghost pirates are in the fog and you see them front and center in the end. And I think they look great. I think they still hold up to today. So I love the design. You don't really fully see them. You kind of see mostly their silhouettes, but I think that the design of them and the glowing red eyes and blue and stuff and the oranges and the lights and stuff around them, I think all that looks great. So yeah, I enjoyed this movie. I give it a solid 3.5 out of 5. Again, it's not the greatest John Carpenter movie. It's not one of my top John Carpenter movies, but I do enjoy the film. I just get bored by it. What do you want me to say? I get bored by it. I'm sorry. The transfer, let's get into the transfer. The transfer work was already done here by Studio Canal back in, I don't remember when those 4Ks came out. I feel like they came out in like 2016, 2017 or something over in the UK. So transfer work has been done for a while on these. This is just the first time that they're coming to the United States, and Scream Factory, Shout Factory's putting it out. So this is a native 4K transfer with Dolby Vision, HDR10, the works. I thought the transfer looked really solid. It didn't blow me away, but also I don't feel like it had enough opportunities to really blow me away. This movie is mostly set at night, and there's just not a lot of colors. It's very like dreary, and it just didn't have that opportunity, I feel like, to really shine. There's some scenes in the daytime that look really great. There's a scene in the hospital with Jamie Lee Curtis and Tom Atkins that I think that whole scene and setup looks great. It looked really good, just incredibly detailed and really clear. A lot of scenes in the night house with Adrienne Barbeau, the close-ups on her face as she's talking to everybody with the lights coming in. I think all that looks phenomenal. But there's some really heavy grain in this, so if you're not a fan of grain, you're not going to like some of this transfer. There's some really heavy grain on some of the outside sequences with the fog rolling in just as it pulls out and you see the fog coming in. So it is really grainy when you're first seeing the fog coming in. You're seeing the pirates and stuff. It kind of gets a little murky, a little muddy with the picture quality and clarity there. Most of the movie, though, was very clean, sharp picture quality. I can't say nothing too much bad about it. It didn't blow me away. There's good detail and color when there is the opportunity for that to shine. But again, mostly a dark film, so you don't really get a lot in terms of like vivid colors. And overall, I think the thing that disappointed me the most is that with a lot of these 4K transfers, you just really feel like that depth of perception when you're watching the movie, and I didn't get that with this. It didn't feel like it had a lot of weight to it, like it had a lot of depth. And again, that might just be my personal opinion and preference, and just the way that I saw it when I watched it. But it just didn't blow me away like some of the other 4K transfers that I've watched from Screen Factory or any of the other labels. So I'll give it, I probably would give it like a 3.5 or a 4 for actual picture quality. It is really solid. It's just not great and didn't blow me away. Getting into the audio, there is Dolby Atmos and there's Dolby True HD. Plenty of audio options here. I'm going to put those to the side right there. Getting into the special features though, you do have a lot of special features here. You do get 2 discs. You get the 4K disc, you can get the 4K Blu-ray disc. So that's the 4K, or that's the Blu-ray with the 4K scan. And you get, you know, the audio commentaries with Adrienne Barbeau, Tom Atkins, Tommy Lee Wallace, Retribution, Uncovering John Carpenter's The Fog, The Shape of Things to Come, John Carpenter's Unfilmed, Intro by John Carpenter, Screen Analysis by John Carpenter, My Time with Terror, Interview with actress Jamie Lee Curtis. I didn't get a chance to watch any of these special features, but all of these are from the previous Screen Factory release that came out. So I don't know if these are present in the Studio Canal ones at all. So I have to imagine that that's one perk of buying this versus the Studio Canal, is you do get these extra like Screen Factory special features. So but yeah, you get Interview with Director of Photography, Dean Cundy, which, yeah, he did the cinematography. He is an excellent cinematographer, so he did an excellent job doing this film. Got to give him credit for that. It looked great. Tales from the Mist, Inside the Fog featurette. Fear on Film, Inside the Fog featurette. The Fog storyboard to film featurette. Horrors, Hallowed Grounds, a look at the film's locations, outtakes, just trailers from hell. Filmmaker Mick Garris on The Fog. Theatrical trailers, TV spots, photo gallery, storyboards. Just tons of stuff here, guys. I'm trying to see if there's any other. There is another audio commentary with John Carpenter and Deborah Hill as well. So 2 audio commentaries on this set. And like I said, the restoration was done by Studio Canal. So you get the works here, and you get some of these special features are present on the 4K disc, and some of them, most of them are present just on the Blu-ray disc. So this thing is jam-packed, loaded with special features. If you're like me, I didn't previously own this Screen Factory edition, so I'll be getting all of these special features for the first time. And I imagine that some of the ones, yeah, I'm pretty sure that some of these that were present on this DVD that came back in 2005, because this is my upgrade from this DVD. So this is the last time that I bought and owned this movie. So I'm assuming that quite a few of these probably ended up on this release as well. But yeah, just tons of great special features. Getting into the packaging itself right here, you have this cover. I love this artwork. I don't know if this is the original poster. I think this might have had several original posters, but I absolutely love this artwork. Just the richness of the shirt, the colors right there, Jamie Lee Curtis, how it kind of shines. It just looks excellent. She's holding back the door with the blues and the hand coming in. Just excellent work. I love that artwork right there. And then I'll zoom in on the back. I might be doing a special unboxing as I'm doing this. I don't know, but you guys can see the casting list and all that stuff right there. Go ahead and take it out of the slip cover. We'll look inside right here. Show you all this one more time. Open up the case, and thankfully, guys, there's no grease in there. Nothing, no grease to worry about, but you'd have some cool disc art on the 4K and the Blu-ray. And this one actually has, and this is the thing, guys, You know, people are complaining about grease and stuff. This is the thing that makes me the most upset. The fact that you got reversible cover art on this 4K for the fog right here. And unless they're just gonna start doing this on every single one of their 4Ks now, they heard the complaints and now they're gonna start doing it, I'll be okay with that. But if we get to Evil Dead 2013, we get to Army of Darkness, and they don't have reversible cover art, I'm gonna call some bullshit right there, because they can't just start doing this and then pull it away. Like, that's the kind of stuff that frustrates me. And we saw last week, I talked about Cat People on the channel, that had reversible cover art as well. So hopefully that's a new trend and they're going to keep doing that. But don't start doing it and then not do it again, because that would be ridiculous. But anyway, the fog, you can get this right now, guys, for $27.99 currently on Amazon. But if you want to get it from the Screen Factory website, it's going to be a little bit more. It's $36.99 on there. There's still several packages. This thing had several packages on the Shout Factory website. I'll link that down below. Several packages are still available. The Steelbook is still available. The Steelbook with the NECA is still available. The Steelbook and the 4K with the NECA and the pins and all that stuff. All these editions, there's like 10 different editions on Shout Factory's websites. The only one that are not available are the ones with the vinyl. So just the Steelbook and the vinyl, and just the slipcase and the vinyl. Those two are not available, but every other edition and package is currently available. As of right now, as of I'm filming this, it may change tomorrow, a couple days when you actually watch this, but as of right now, every package on the Shout Factory website, except for the ones that I said, are still available. So with that, guys, I am done with my review of the Fog on 4K. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, I'm sorry I was a little bit negative on the movie. I do like the movie. I'm happy having it in the collection, but let me know your thoughts on the movie if you're going to be purchasing this 4K release in the comment section below. Also, be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications, and follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.